University of Kentucky police arrest a man they say is responsible for stealing almost half a dozen bicycles, possibly some mopeds.
Investigators have released their preliminary findings into what caused a massive fire in downtown Hazard last week. What's next for the historic building?
And a Southern Kentucky police officer involved in a deadly crash is out of a job tonight. Why Stanford's mayor decided to fire him, coming up.
Tracking, alerting, protecting. This is WKYT News at 5:30.
Good afternoon. They help people travel around UK's campus, but recently they have been the target of several thefts.
UK police have arrested a man accused of stealing 5 bicycles around campus. They also believe that Akeem Johnson is responsible for some moped thefts. Police say 7 mopeds were stolen during July and August. And now the university is looking into ways to lock up the mopeds. Victor Puente has details in our top story at 5:30.
7 mopeds were stolen over a 2-month period here at the University of Kentucky. Last night, UK police made an arrest that they say may have solved some of those crimes. The thefts happened in July and August. Because the university considers them the same as motorcycles, mopeds can't be locked to bike racks. Right now, there are only 2 scooter racks on campus, but that could be changing.
They're actually exploring moped secure racks. So it's actually designed for mopeds or scooters.
Monroe believes his officers may have solved some of those thefts while investigating a string of stolen bicycles. Since the start of school, 13 bikes have disappeared from the university. An alert went out with a description that paid off last night.
And came up to one of the officers that was nearby and said, I think I may see your guy that you're looking for.
He says after a short chase, they arrested 31-year-old Akeem Johnson and charged him with theft. He says video surveillance places him at 5 of those thefts, but there could be more charges.
So we're looking at see if he's connected to the moped thefts. We haven't had a whole lot of them recently.
Johnson is also charged with fleeing or evading police, possession of drug paraphernalia, and possession of marijuana. In Lexington, Victor Puente, WKYT.
Johnson has also had 2 outstanding warrants from Jefferson County.
We have some new information tonight about a fire that destroyed a building in eastern Kentucky. Investigators have released their preliminary findings about a massive fire in downtown Hazard last week. Jennifer Palumbo is at the live desk for us with a story that's new at 5:30. Jennifer?
Amber, investigators say as of today they can't determine what caused the fire that destroyed the old Grand Hotel building last Tuesday. So the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms and Explosives, the Kentucky State Fire Marshal's Office, the Hazard Fire Department and the Hazard Police Department have ruled the cause as undetermined. More than 70 people were forced from their homes because of the fire. Many of them lost everything they own. The building had apartments, the Peking Chinese restaurant, a tattoo shop and a cell phone store. Today, officials had a meeting to decide the fate of the historic building.
We've determined a safety zone. We just need to go back and double check everything, prior to the demolition. And our next step is to get a contractor in there to begin demolition on the building.
The fire also damaged buildings next to the old Grand Hotel. It's also known as the Main Street Mall building. As for the people who lived there, they were able to stay at a shelter at First Presbyterian Church. Red Cross officials now tell us the shelter closed at 5 today, and all the fire victims now have a place to live. At the live desk, Jennifer Palumbo, WKYT.
Jennifer, thank you. No one was injured in last week's fire.
An update tonight on a story we've been tracking in Lincoln County. A police officer there involved in a deadly crash has lost his job. Travis Richardson's attorney says the mayor of Stanford has decided to fire the officer. State police say that Richardson was speeding when he hit and killed Howard Robbins on US 150 back in January. In a statement, Mayor Eddie Carter said, quote, "There were a number of complex issues, but the fact remains our city police officer was traveling at approximately 90 miles per hour in a 55-mile-per-hour speed zone. He was driving to work and not responding to any emergency situation." Richard's attorney says that he will appeal the decision.
Police in eastern Kentucky are investigating what caused a deadly crash this morning. Our county-by-county coverage at 5:30 begins in Floyd County. The wreck happened around 11:45 on US 23 in Boldman near the Pike-Floyd County line. Police say the crash involved two cars, but they have not said yet how many people were killed. No names have been released just yet. In Laurel County, a man faces charges after police say he was exposing himself at a business. London police say 28-year-old Brandon Collier was walking around the Dollar General store on North Main Street harassing customers. They tell us Collier then walked up to the store manager and exposed himself. Police say he also went to the Save You More store and harassed more customers. Collier was arrested outside of the Speedway gas station near Save You More. He's been charged with indecent exposure and disorderly conduct. And in Mercer County, police are warning people to watch out for counterfeit bills. Harrisburg police say they've received several $150 bills. We're told Danville has also seen some $100 bills as well. Police say the suspects are marking the bills with a marker to make them look like they've already been tested at another store.
We're still more than a week away from the official start of fall, but we're tracking a blast of October temperatures moving into the region this week. Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey has an early look at the cooler forecast.
Yeah, temperature's going to go way down as we inch closer and closer to that weekend. And, you know, we're starting to get to the time of the year when you look at some of the leaves out there and already seeing some early colors that are showing up. You can see just a hint of some yellows here on our Skycam with our WKYT weather garden. Defender tracking showers and thunderstorms across parts of the area as well. From Beattyville in Lee County toward Berea, it's been a little on the wet side. Just to the west of Danville, Perryville, down into sections of the Campbellsville area, Russell Springs, Somerset, Mount Victory, and into downtown London. Look at the rains beginning to press on into town. It's been a soggy day across much of southern and southeastern Kentucky. Soggy to foggy. Fog advisory is out. Dense fog advisory overnight into early tomorrow for much of southern and eastern Kentucky. Though, even though you're not included in this fog advisory, I expect widespread fog for much of the area early tomorrow morning. When I come back in a few minutes, we'll focus on the forecast that includes that big October blast of air for the weekend, guys. Some new numbers from the hour-by-hour forecast coming your way here in less than 10 minutes.
A high school senior is being honored tonight for actions he took when his mother and grandmother were murdered in Hardin County in 2007. Police say that Matthew Pete was just 9 years old when he called 911 from a Rineyville home where Tracy Burke and Karen Comer were shot and killed. Brent Burke, who was Pete's stepfather, was convicted of the murders in 2012. Pete was nominated for the award by a dispatcher who monitored his call at the time of the murders. He's receiving the first 911 Hero Award at the Kentucky Emergency Services Conference.
People will take steps to help fight a rare disease this weekend. The 5th annual Race Against Time takes place at Cherokee Park in Louisville. The race benefits Lexington boy Zach Pickard and the Progeria Research Foundation. Progeria causes children like Zach to age rapidly. Pickard's grandmother and the doctor's office where she works in Louisville have been raising money for the race. The proceeds will help keep children in a clinical trial.
I've worked emergency for a lot of years as a nurse, and I couldn't do a thing for my own grandson. I could save life somewhere else, and I can't do a thing for him.
Registration for the 5K begins at 8 with the race starting at 9. The clinical trial for Zach and the other children begins in March. Police across Kentucky are looking for unneeded and expired medications. State police are teaming up with the Drug Enforcement Agency later this month for the National Drug Take-Back Program. People can drop off the medication at any state police post in Kentucky from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. on September 26th. Illegal drugs are not part of the initiative, and police are asking that no one put them in a collection container.
Since Rowan County Clerk Kim Davis went to jail last week and then was released this week, we've had many questions from our viewers about her salary. Melissa of Scott County is one, and she's asking, while serving jail time, did Rowan County Clerk Kim Davis get paid? Now, Davis is out of jail, as I mentioned before, but not at the clerk's office right now. She plans to return to work, the last word we had, on Monday. The state auditor's office says elected officials in Kentucky get paid whether they work or not, and she does collect her salary while in jail. There's no vacation, no sick or comp time for elected officials. The Rowan County attorney says paid time off is up to the elected official and, quote, voters will vote you out if you take too much. Davis is paid $80,000 a year right now as county clerk. If you have a good question, go to WKYT.com. Governor Beshear is trying to fight back as Florida tries to lure businesses away from the bluegrass.
And poll workers are needed for November's general election. Bill Bryant tells us how you can apply in the bottom line.
Good evening. A battle for business is pitting the Bluegrass State against the Sunshine State as Florida's governor is coming on a hunting trips of sorts to Kentucky. Florida Governor Rick Scott has announced that he will be traveling to Kentucky to try to lure businesses away. Scott, a Republican who has made trips to other states, has raised the ire of Democratic Kentucky Governor Steve Beshear, who says Kentucky, not Florida, was #1 in the nation for economic development projects per capita in 2014. A group called Enterprise Florida, which is a public-private partnership, is also running radio ads in Kentucky designed to try to draw businesses south. Despite lagging in the polls and in fundraising, Kentucky Senator Rand Paul is redoubling his effort to win the Republican presidential nomination. Paul is heading to the early and important caucus state of Iowa tomorrow. He will be holding 5 events over 2 days. Paul's campaign says he will continue to emphasize the importance of protecting the entire Bill of Rights and for Washington to spend only what it brings in. Paul has found himself running far behind frontrunner Donald Trump in the polls. The call is going out for poll workers for Kentucky's November 3rd general election. Secretary of State Allison Grimes says the state will need about 15,000 poll workers. To work at the polls, a person must be 18 before November 3rd, be an eligible voter, not have changed their party affiliation over the last year, and not be closely related to a candidate on the ballot. It pays $60 per election plus mileage and a training fee, and those interested can apply at local county clerk's offices. Kentucky's legislative leaders have chosen the former Nevada secretary as the next director of the Legislative Research Commission. David Byerman will be earning $135,000 a year as director of the agency that assists lawmakers in drafting and researching legislation. Bill Bryant, WKYT.
Kentucky taxpayers will initially foot the bill for the "In God We Trust" signs that have been put up in legislative committee rooms at the Capitol.
But one lawmaker says that money will be reimbursed. Senator Albert Robinson of London says he will either raise the $2,800 next year or he will repay the state on his own. Robinson sponsored legislation back in 2014 to place the signs in all of the legislative committee rooms. The ACLU of Kentucky says it would be difficult to challenge the sign since "In God We Trust" is the national motto. Google is working with officials in Kentucky to possibly bring their internet service to Louisville. Google Fiber is available in 6 cities right now, and now they're considering adding Louisville, Irvine, California, and San Diego. It's Irvine, California, excuse me. In those 3 cities, they want to be considered, and Google Fiber says they must complete a checklist similar to the one it presented last year in other cities across the country. Louisville's mayor says the fiber network would be much faster than broadband. No deal is in place at this time.